This tutorial provides examples of how to use CSV data with Tensorflow. There are two main parts to this. Loading the data off disk. Preprocessing it into a form suitable for training. This tutorial focuses on the loading, and gives some quick examples of preprocessing. For any small CSV dataset, the simplest way to train a TensorFlow model on it is to load it into memory as a pandas data frame or a number-py array. A relatively simple example is the abalone dataset. The dataset is small. All the input features are all limited-range floating-point values. Here is how to download the data into a pandas data frame. The dataset contains a set of measurements of abalone, a type of sea snail. The nominal task for this dataset is to predict the age from the other measurements, so separate the features and labels for training. For this dataset, you will treat all features identically. Pack the features into a single number-py array. Next, make a regression model predict the age. Since there is only a single input tensor, a Keras sequential model is sufficient here. To train that model, pass the features and labels to model.fit. You have just seen the most basic way to train a model using CSV data. Next, you will learn how to apply preprocessing to normalize numeric columns. It's good practice to normalize the inputs to your model. The Keras preprocessing layers provide a convenient way to build this normalization into your model. The layer will precompute the mean and variance of each column, and use these to normalize the data. First, you create the layer. Then you use the normalization.adapt method to adapt the normalization layer to your data. Then use the normalization layer in your model. The Titanic dataset contains information about the passengers on the Titanic. The nominal task on this dataset is to predict who survived. The raw data can easily be loaded as a pandas data frame, but is not immediately usable as input to a TensorFlow model. Because of the different data types and ranges, you can't simply stack the features into number-py array and pass it to a Keras sequential model. Each column needs to be handled individually. As one option, you could preprocess your data offline, using any tool you like, to convert categorical columns to numeric columns, then pass the processed output to your TensorFlow model. The disadvantage to that approach is that if you save and export your model, the preprocessing is not saved with it. The Keras preprocessing layers avoid this problem because they're part of the model. In this example, you'll build a model that implements the preprocessing logic using Keras functional API. You could also do it by subclassing. The functional API operates on symbolic tensors. Normal, integer tensors have a value. In contrast, these symbolic tensors do not. Instead, they keep track of which operations are run on them, and build representation of the calculation that you can run later. Here's a quick example. To build the preprocessing model, start by building a set of symbolic Keras input objects, matching the names and data types of the CSV columns. The first step in your preprocessing logic is to concatenate the numeric inputs together, and run them through a normalization layer. Collect all the symbolic preprocessing results, to concatenate them later. For the string inputs, use the tf.keras.layers.string lookup function to map from strings to integer indices in a vocabulary. Next, use tf.keras.layers.category encoding to convert the indexes into float 32 data appropriate for the model. The default settings for the tf.keras.layers.category encoding layer create a one-hot vector for each input. A layers embedding would also work. With the collection of inputs and processed inputs, you can concatenate all the preprocessed inputs together, and build a model that handles the preprocessing. This model just contains the processed inputs. You can concatenate all the preprocessed inputs together, and build a model that handles automatically convert pandas data frames because it's not clear if it should be converted to one tensor or to a dictionary of tensors. So convert it to a dictionary of tensors. Slice out the first training example and pass it to this preprocessing model. You see the numeric features and string 1 hots all concatenated together. Now build the model on top of this. When you train the model, pass the dictionary of features as X and the label as Y. Since the preprocessing is part of the model, you can save the model and reload it somewhere else and get identical results. In the previous section you relied on the model's built-in data shuffling and batching while training the model. If you need more control over the input data pipeline or need to use data that doesn't easily fit into memory, use tf.data. As a first example of applying tf.data to CSV data, consider the following code to manually slice up the dictionary of features from the previous section. For each index, it takes that index for each feature. Run this and print the first example. The most basic tf.data dataset in memory data loader is the dataset.from_tensor_slices constructor. This returns the tf.data dataset that implements a generalized version of the above slices function in Tensorflow. You can iterate over a tf.data dataset like any other Python iterable. The from_tensor_slices function can handle any structure of nested dictionaries or tuples. The following code makes a dataset of features_dict, labels, pairs. To train a model using this dataset, you'll need to at least shuffle and batch the data. Instead of passing features and labels to model.fit, you pass the dataset. So far this tutorial has worked with in-memory data. tf.data is a highly scalable toolkit for building data pipelines, and provides a few functions for loading CSV files. Now read the CSV data from the file and create a tf.data dataset. This function includes many convenient features so the data is easy to work with. This includes using the column headers as dictionary keys. There is some overhead to parsing the CSV data. For small models this can be the bottleneck in training. Depending on your use case it may be a good idea to use dataset.cache or data.experimental.snapshot so that the CSV data is only parsed on the first epoch. The main difference between the cache and snapshot methods is that cache files can only be used by the Tensorflow process that created them, but snapshot files can be read by other processes.